And we're going to get started here. All right, everybody. Sorry for being a few minutes late. We had some technical difficulties. I'm Mike Cornell, and welcome back to day 3 of the Strengthen Your Immune System and Beat Type 2 Diabetes 5-day challenge. We had a great presentation yesterday from Mary Branson on nutrition. It was very comprehensive, and you have to accept the challenge. I've decided I'm going to cut back to red meat once a week. That's a start for me. So, but I'll continue to take my gummies every day, which give you the complete daily requirements for fruit and vegetables, which is awesome. I still have regular fruits and vegetables with my dinner, but I hope you folks learned a lot yesterday. And today we're going to have a gentleman presenting for us. He is a world recognized expert on glutathione enhancement therapy. Jim Spencer trains doctors, he trains scientists, and he runs what I consider the best Zoom call every Sunday night. It's medical benefits, and he talks about the tiny little molecule that's in all of our bodies, but it's a giant in our immune system. It's called glutathione. And Jim talks each week, each Sunday night, about various challenges people have with their health and how glutathione plays a major role in recovering from those challenges. So Jim just arrived for us. And Jim, I thank you so much for scrambling and getting here for me. I do totally appreciate it. And I thank you. I know, you're a busy guy, so we'll get you on and get you started. I'll give you the host privileges so that you can run a slideshow if you need to. So let me go into the participants here. And we'll make Jim host.
Very good. Thank you, Michael, and hello, everyone.
Thank you so much, Jim. I'll shut my mic off and we'll let you go.
Very good. Well, nice to meet you folks. I see an old friend of mine, John Solider, on too. Hi, John. And Kelvin. Hi, Kelvin.
Hello.
I'm going to share a program with you that's designed to basically explain some of the benefits for glutathione therapy with regards to diabetes. And we will, can everyone see that okay? All right, good.
Yes, we're good, Jim.
All right, well, diabetes has impacted our country probably more so than any other illness has in a dramatic way over the last couple of decades. It impacts every social, economic, and ethnic background. We estimate that there's over 30 million confirmed diabetics, or about 10%, but it's a lot worse than that if you calculate how many are pre-diabetic. But it accounts for about 1 million amputations per year. About 346 million people suffer from it worldwide. And, about 1 person every 5 seconds becomes a diabetic. It's over 700 people an hour. But here's the shocking thing. They estimate that of all the children born since the year 2000, about 1 out of every 3 of them are going to be diabetic. So not a good statistic. And that's going to impact the healthcare systems incredibly badly in the years to come. They estimate that about 88 million Americans, or 1 out of 3, are what we call pre-diabetic. And 84% of them don't even realize that they're in that position. And of course, a pre-diabetic is in the increased risk of developing into type 2 diabetes, which of course is one of the major things that causes kidney disease, heart disease, and stroke. Now, about 15 years after somebody gets diabetes or becomes a diabetic, about 2% of them will lose their eyesight, but about 10% will suffer from eye problems. About 10 to 20% of the patients that suffer from diabetes wind up getting kidney disease, dying from renal failure. About 50% of the people suffering from diabetes develop what we call neurological disorders. And that can also be the cause of a lot of pain from peripheral neuropathy. Cardiovascular disease is the main cause of 50% of the deaths of people that suffer from diabetes. And why is that? Well, because diabetics are at such a very high oxidative stress level. They oxidize their bodies 5 times faster than normal. And so that means that the cholesterol inside the arteries are oxidizing at a more rapid rate. So that's why heart disease goes hand in hand with diabetes. Now, here's the bad news. You thought that was bad. The bad news is the number of Americans with diabetes is projected to either double or triple by the year 2050. So that means that as many as 1 out of every 3 adults could have diabetes if this current trend doesn't change. And it continues to be the major cause of blindness in the United States, and diabetics are more prone to getting cataracts and glaucoma. Well, I've already mentioned the fact that there's so many pre-diabetics. Diabetes is the 7th leading cause of death in the United States. So it's in the top 10 now. What's the cost of diabetes? Well, if you just calculate the 30 million that have diabetes, the cost is estimated at $327 billion. Now, let me put that in perspective. The cost for all of cardiovascular disease is only about 110 billion. So it gives you an idea. And that's the #1 killer. So 1 out of every 7 healthcare dollars is spent on diabetes or its complications. And here in the United States, about 4,000 people every day are going to find out they're diabetic. 295 people will have amputations, and 137 will enter what we call end-stage kidney disease treatment. Now, if you look at the world scene, look at the explosion of diabetes in China. Right now, they're listing 114 million people. India, 72.9 million. And you look at some of the other areas of the world, the top 3 then are the US, India, and China. Now, conventional medicines that are used, first of all, start with pills. These pills are hopefully going to help control the sugar balances of type 2 diabetes. Glucophage, Glumetza, it's basically metformin. There's also a number of other things that are used, including insulin. And obviously, there's some side effects of these different drugs. The question that a lot of people have is, well, why did I get this in the first place? Well, there's 2 types of diabetes. You've got the type 1 that basically means that your pancreas is not working at all. So the type 1 diabetes usually occurs in children and right up into young adulthood. These type of persons have to have insulin injections even to have a normal life. It's thought to be autoimmune, but they have not really been really clear on that matter. But there's about 1.25 million Americans that have this disorder. The one that's of far greater impact today is the type 2. So your pancreas starts to diminish its insulin production, and your body stops using, or it loses its ability to utilize it. And this is the most common form. And unfortunately, people don't realize that they could avert it altogether by changing eating habits, losing weight, exercise, just changing lifestyle in general. Now, I want to show you a chart that's quite dramatic in its nature. This is a map showing the amount of diabetes in 1994. But another chart shows obesity. And so do you see the difference between 1994 and 2015? Dramatic increases. So here's an actual chart showing obesity in 1994. And the chart showing obesity in 2015. If you compare these charts, basically obesity and the complications of diabetes are neck and neck. So it's almost one and the same. Here you can see a little bit closer look at it. So there's 2015 obesity, 2015 diabetes. Just staggering how closely related they are. The researchers have found that obesity causes stress in cellular membranes called endoplasmic reticulum, and this causes the endoplasmic stress, the insulin receptors, which leads to insulin resistance. So these people start gaining weight even if they're eating less and less food. However, obesity also causes increased levels of fatty acids and inflammation, leading to, again, insulin resistance, which again can lead to this type 2 diabetes. And the blood sugar levels build up and these sugar levels get out of control. So why is weight control so important? Well, it's a major risk factor for type 2 diabetes. Roughly 30% of overweight people have the disease, but 85% of diabetics are overweight. So it's really hand in hand. Now, our discussion today about why glutathione can benefit a diabetic is going to start at this point, because it's very important to understand the benefits that glutathione can bring. First of all, let's identify the primary reasons. Diabetics are 500% higher oxidative stress levels. And glutathione is one of the critical factors to control oxidative stress levels. Another complication is that there's poor circulation among diabetics. That's why if they get a wound, it won't heal. A pressure ulcer, otherwise known as a bed sore, just won't heal. And sometimes it continues to grow until they have to cut off toes or feet or legs. And the third reason, and by the way, glutathione basically very rapidly increases the body's ability to have good circulation. And this has been seen in many clinical trials, clinical studies. Now, the higher levels of sugar also depress immune function. And so diabetics are at greater risk for infections, viral and bacterial. Essentially, they catch everything that comes along. So a big reason to by itself get higher levels of glutathione is it increases your immune system function. So prevention of vascular complications includes atherosclerosis, hardening of the arteries, kidney damage, retinal damage, and nerve damage. And glutathione will help with all four of those. Immune systems of diabetics can be sympathetic to thrush, which allows candida to spread throughout the body, and other fungal infections, either in the skin or even in the bloodstream. Bacterial infections are more common and can basically deteriorate into something like gangrene, especially in the toes and the feet, and sepsis. Let's take a look at some of the clinicals. This one goes back 24 years ago. The effect of acute glutathione treatment on sorbitol level in erythrocytes from diabetic patients. Here it shows that glutathione depletion by reducing glycolytic flux to pyruvate may enhance the rate of glucose metabolism through the polyol pathway and worsen the metabolic imbalance of diabetic tissues. So the administration of exogenous glutathione could interrupt this vicious circle. This study was done years ago. Let's look at one that was done just 7 or 8 years ago. Diabetic retinopathy is associated with oxidative stress and the mitigation of gene expression of antioxidant enzymes. Well, here it shows that one of the enzymes of glutathione, which is called glutathione peroxidase, it was very low. And it says poor glycemic control and alteration of the mRNA gene expression of antioxidant enzymes are strongly associated with the development of diabetic retinopathy. So again, another study that showed its value. In 2012, this study was released. Glutathione deficiency in type 2 diabetes impaired cytokine responses and the control of intracellular bacteria. So poor interleukin-12 production correlated with a deficiency in intracellular reduced glutathione concentrations in diabetic patients. Our data thus establishes a link between glutathione deficiency in diabetes and increased susceptibility to melioidosis that may open up new therapeutic avenues to protect diabetic patients against some intracellular bacterial pathogens. Well, in this particular study, they used something called N-acetylcysteine to raise glutathione. This is a drug that has a synthetic form of cysteine, and that is very important to get your body to make more glutathione. Here's another one. The relationship between the level of glutathione, impairment of glucose metabolism, and complications of diabetes mellitus. So the conclusion of the study is that glutathione deficiency was of great significance in the pathogenesis of diabetes mellitus. Here's one in 2015, the mitochondrial glutathione in diabetic neuropathy. So one common characteristic of all cases involves mitochondrial oxidative stress and consequential bioenergetic dysfunction. And so the findings support that glutathione carriers as potential therapeutic targets to correct the underlying metabolic disturbance in diabetic nephropathy. Now, how do you make glutathione? Well, there's a half a dozen different drugs that do it. I don't recommend any of them because all of them have not only side effects, but they break down into harmful components over a period of time. So the really best way to do it, and this has been proven by many different studies, is what we call bioactive whey proteins. Now, what does that mean? Well, it's not just your average whey protein. It's one that's specially made just to raise glutathione. It has undenatured protein. It's never been heated. So a good way to tell the difference is you take a scoop of it and you put it in a glass of water. And if it floats, that's a bioactive whey protein. If you can stir it right in, forget about it. In fact, to add vanilla, chocolate, and strawberry, you have to hydrolyze the protein. So these specific bioactive whey proteins are produced under pharmaceutical conditions. They're patented to optimize immune function in humans. There's no side effects. There's no contraindications for any medicines. This is the safe way to do it. And you will see almost immediate benefits the first month that you do it. Okay, so do you have any questions on what you heard today? You have to unmute your, let's see, I don't know your name.
If you could unmute yourself.
I just did. Thanks. I'm sorry, I just have a basic question. I don't really understand what this is. Is it glutathione? Is it a chemical that's in your body already? Or is it something you're trying to introduce? I don't really, I think I missed the beginning. I don't get it. What is glutathione? Is it something we already have?
inside every cell of your body, you have a number of components. And one of the things inside every cell is glutathione.
Okay,
It's a tripeptide protein molecule. It's made up of
Okay.
3 amino acids. And you need those 3 amino acids in your bloodstream in order to make glutathione.
okay,
Glutathione is in every cell of your body, from your hair to your toenails. And the average human today doesn't make enough of it.
okay,
This has been clinically shown to be the case. But its benefits are involved in with almost 200 different disease states. The glutathione is critical to good health. And today I just did a presentation on how it affects diabetes.
thank you. That was helpful.
Good. Any other questions?
We needed Bruce Hayward, Jim, to do that introduction on
Yeah.
glutathione.
Or you can do it yourself, Michael. You know how to do it by now.
I know you're absolutely correct. I have been to enough Sunday night calls that I know glutathione is an idea, right? It's an anti-inflammatory. It's the oxidative master antioxidant in your body. None of the other antioxidants that we take or have in our body will work without glutathione to drive that process. So it's what makes your immune system work. So how's that, Jim?
Good. You're getting better. Anybody else have any questions before we close up? If you do, just to get together with the person that invited you, and they'll help you answer the questions, or you can have them track me down and I can answer questions. But Joe, do you have in mind somebody that has diabetes?
No, I'm actually Mike's sister, and
Okay.
I'm just interested in general in all of these health topics. And I just didn't have a clue as to what this was. And I understand what you're talking about as a component of the cells. But I think I'm also kind of missing what you're recommending to increase the glutathione in your body. You mentioned the whey protein thing.
Right.
But I guess I'm not really sure what you're recommending to increase glutathione.
We have
a.
I'm sorry, Jim. Go ahead.
The one I specifically recommend is called ImmunoCal. It's got 6 pharmaceutical patents in the United States and Canada, and 77 patents worldwide. And it's a very lightweight powder. It comes in 10 gram pouches. I'll show you a picture of one. This is a pouch. And so you just mix it once a day and you drink it.
Okay.
And your body starts making glutathione within an hour.
Okay, that's helpful information also. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Well, Mike, been a privilege to join you today. And,
Jim, thank you so much for coming at
Thank
the
you, Jim.
last minute in the scramble. I do appreciate it. And what's your Sunday night topic? So if anyone's interested in dropping in Sunday night.
Oh, we keep freezing?
Sunday night's program is going to be on the effect of glutathione on HIV and AIDS, which is still a very, very high killer among young people. In fact, it's the #1 killer between the ages of 15 and 25, believe it or not, still.
Wow.
So you're going to be absolutely astounded at what glutathione can do for HIV and AIDS. If you know anyone in that age group, or invite them to come on. You can get the link from Michael or Kelvin, and we'll see you there.
Thank you so much, Jim.
All right, folks, take care.
Thank you, Jim.
All right, so we still have a little bit of time if anybody wants to discuss any of the things that we learned between Jim and Mary, who's with us as well. If not, then we can close early today, and you'll have
Am I the only one freezing?
Yeah, I think you are the only one freezing. Well, there's Mary.
Mike, are you freezing or is it just me?
No, it was just you.
Hi, sorry, just got home,
Oh, cool.
but
So,
I was listening.
okay. So, Joe, just so you understand, if we mention Immunical like any other um, natural product, we have to talk about the natural product disclaimer, which means we're not making any claims here today. The FDA has not reviewed or looked at any of our statements we're making, and we're not talking about curing or, uh, you know,
No,
treating
I totally
any
understand.
disease. But so that's just the natural product disclaimer. But
Yep,
with that
yep.
being said, Jim has been doing his presentation on Sunday nights for many years. It used to be on just telephone, but over the past year, they joined the Zoom world and it's on a Zoom call.
Mhm.
But glutathione is so uh, you know omnipotent in your body. It's like you said, it's in every cell. So it's vital to your immune system. It creates the T4 and the T8 cells that go out and fight disease and virus that attacks your body.
Okay.
They discovered it back in the 70s. A doctor that founded the company Immunitech discovered it, and they found they were researching on the effects of mother's breast milk with people's health. Why were babies healthier drinking mother's breast milk as compared to cow's milk? So that's how the study began, and they discovered that by not heating this protein, that the cysteine, which is the amino acid needed in your body to help create new glutathione in your system, because as you get older, you start depleting it. It's something that when you get 40 years of age and older, it becomes even more noticeable because of just everyday life, stress, pollution, diet, everything that you do. If your body needs glutathione for certain things, it will take it from your muscle mass, and it'll take it from different places. So that's why a lot of people, as they get older, their muscle mass depletes fast. It's because their body is stealing the glutathione that it needs from your muscle mass. And so it's a very important thing to be aware of and to take measures to increase it. Now, if somebody goes into the hospital, with COVID-19 and has a cytokine storm from pneumonia, they treat it with N-acetylcysteine, which is what Jim mentioned. It's a drug. It's a synthetic form of cysteine, so that it can create glutathione to attack and balance the immune system. Cytokine storms, your immune system is attacking itself. It's attacking the lungs, and especially. So you can balance out the immune system. And so N-acetylcysteine is great in an emergency. However, it's not something you're going to do on a daily basis because it's very invasive, expensive. You have to inject it, and you really need a doctor's guidance to inject it. And so it's just something they use in emergency situations.
Okay.
There are different forms of, precursors, they call them. Precursors are what goes into your body when you ingest it and creates glutathione. Immunical is what they call a double bonded cysteine whey protein. The cysteine is protected by the outer shell of protein, so that when you absorb it into your body, your stomach doesn't destroy it and send it out as waste. That's what happens. There's an over-the-counter product called glutathione that you can take pills for glutathione, but your body just immediately destroys it when it gets into your stomach, and it doesn't do it much, if anything, for you. So the best way is through a precursor that gets into your into your cells. It's called intracellular glutathione, and it helps your body create new glutathione. And I've been going to Jim's calls for the past few years now, and some of the stories you hear of people that have recovered from so many different things is just amazing. And it's because they get on glutathione therapy and their body starts to recover. instead of, continuing the path south. It starts to go north again for you. So,
Okay, thanks.
all righty.
Yeah, thank you.
Mary, any comments?
I was just gonna ask Joe if she did her homework.
No, I didn't do any homework.
Joe.
Oh, no.
Red check mark for you. Red check mark for Joe.
No
What'd you say?
homework.
Red check mark? Yeah. I know
I've
Kelvin
had to
did
give
his homework.
Kelvin a few of those over the past few months.
I did my homework.
You did your homework?
Yep. I had 8 glasses of water. I had my fruits and vegetables. And I take Immunical every morning.
Awesome.
Yep.
Good for you.
I got involved with this 16 years ago because I went blind. I lost my vision. Due to retinitis pigmentosa, and also had COPD.
Oh,
So I started taking it. So what happened is within 3 to 4 months, I no longer had COPD.
That's great.
And over 4 or 5 years, because I had lost all my central vision, all I had was peripheral. And when I was doing my study on my issue, my health challenge, I started the study because the doctors said they wanted to do some clinical trials on me, all in the same sentence, saying that there's no cure. They can't help me. They want to use me for the greater research. And they wanted me to sign a waiver saying that, I could, whatever the treatment they was going to do was use retinal cells, because I have a degeneration of retinal cells. So they wanted to implant retinal cells in my eyes. And it sounded intriguing because I couldn't see. I said, okay, that sounds pretty good. Will I be able to see? Oh, you may have some light or something, but we can't guarantee you that you be able to walk across the street without getting hit by a car, without assistance. And then they wanted me to sign a waiver, and the waiver was, I could have kidney, liver, heart problems. So I opted out of that because I said, okay, being blind can't be so bad because I sleep half the day anyway, so it ain't that serious. So, but that was in 1999. And then in 2005, my wife's girlfriend told him about the company Immunotech out of Montreal, Canada, which is an immunology company. And all their research is on the immune system, intracellular health, oxidative stress, and free radical intracellular science. So we went up there, talked to the doctors, and from there I found out my problem was not my eyeballs, it was inflammation behind my eyes, which was causing my retinal cells to degenerate. So my retinal cells were not generating, because your retinal cells is like the pixels in a TV. The more pixels cluster you have in a TV screen, the sharper the picture. And my picture was getting weak, so I was getting less light for me to see. So as I started taking a product over the few years, like I said, COPD went away in about 4 months, but the vision slowly came back over a 4 to 5 year period. Because what happened is, as I was lowering inflammation, oxidative stress throughout my entire body and behind my eyes, the retinal cells start generating again. So now I was getting more retinal cells, which allowed me to have more light to see. So I'm happy I'm able to even explain that to people that have my problem, like people with macular degeneration, glaucoma, and stuff like that. So I can actually explain that to them. And they discovered glutathione when they was doing research on cataracts in 1888. So that's how they discovered what glutathione was. They said cataracts is oxidized eyeball. So your eyeball is oxidized. That's how you get that film across your eye. And elevated glutathione, basically, it melts the film. You don't have to get it removed. It actually melts it. And it's found out that it was listed in the physician's desk reference. So it sits on every doctor's desk as a nutraceutical, as a treatment for autoimmune disease, cancer, and HIV, right there in their book. United States government gave it a method of use patent to actually treat cancer, HIV. You know, we have those method of use patents for this product. And it has just been a lifesaver for me, my family, and people that surround me that have health challenges. And I got Michael doing 200 push-ups a day.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you get all the credit for that. It's actually Cody. Cody stands there and makes me do them every day.
Yeah, right.
He's better. He says better me than him.
So anyway, so there's a little video Mike could share with you. It's called The Story of Immunical. It'll make more sense than us trying to explain it. So he could email that to you. You can watch it. It just makes more sense.
Oh, and thank you, Calvin. Yeah,
Thank you.
you
Thanks.
corrected my misstatement about discovering glutathione. All right, then. So if unless we have anything else, we could probably adjourn for the day. Your homework is to watch the video, The Story of Immunical. That way you can understand it better, Joe. So I'll have my red pen ready for you tomorrow when you tell me you haven't watched it. So you don't want that. You don't want to remember Dad used to have that that book at home with his grading for the kids that you used to help them with sometimes. You don't want those red check marks next to Joe Connell, you know. So all right then. So that, you know, tomorrow I'm really excited about tomorrow. Let me just. Tomorrow we are going to be. Kelvin, why are you center screen?
Important.
I guess that's so. All right, just so that we get this right. Tomorrow, I am very excited about the gentleman that is going to be here presenting. I'm not going to tell you his name because it's a big mystery, but this guy is going to switch the course we're taking just a little bit. One of the health challenges that we face right now because of, you know, the pandemic and the economy and unemployment and so forth is stress. And the stress is related to money and income. Well, John's going to talk about a way that he has grown with improving his health and increasing his wealth. John has made over $40 million in his direct selling career. He's a legend in the network marketing industry. And I won't tell you his last name, but he's going to be here tomorrow and give us some insights on how we can not only improve our health, but if we're interested, we can improve and increase our wealth. So that's going to be it for today. I hope you can make it tomorrow. As always, we recorded this session. It will be available in Facebook, in our Facebook group, the Strengthen Your Immune System and Beat Type 2 Diabetes 5-Day Challenge group. So you can watch the video there if you missed some of it, or if you want to review it for any of the information that Mary presented yesterday, or Jim Spencer presented today, or to hear Kelvin's testimonial again. So thank you for joining us, and you know, we'll see you tomorrow on day 4.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. See you tomorrow. Thanks, Kelvin. Thanks, John.
My computer works today.